Now on Up with KREM, we're taking you outside on this Thursday morning. We've got a little smoky haze in the sky, but improving air quality across the inland Northwest.
Students will be required to wear masks at school this fall. And this morning, what other regulations students can expect when they head back to the classroom?
And the Delta variant is raging through the Washington hospital system. This morning, what the Spokane Regional Health District has to say about hospitalizations in our area.
Up with KREM begins now.
Hey there, friends. Good morning. Thanks so much for being with us on this Friday Eve. That's what we say around here, Channing. Yeah, it makes you kind of want to do a little shimmy. Yeah. Well, hey, if you didn't know, Channing is our newest anchor of Up with KREM, and she is just crushing it. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you.
You fit right in.
It's all the coffee.
Yeah, it is all the coffee. We have a great story about coffee coming up in just a little bit. Okay, but Channing, tell us your favorite type of coffee. We know you like coffee, but how do you order it?
Okay, so I'm typically an espresso girl. 1 cream, 2 equals.
She knows. She knows. It's that simple.
Yes, it's a very simple order. I can get in and get out of the coffee line very quickly, so it doesn't take me 20 minutes to order.
I love it. Okay, but if you have coffee advice for Channing, I know a lot of people have opinions about coffee in this area, so text Channing your favorite coffee place 509-448-2000. In the meantime, let's take a live look outside this morning because we are tracking a lot, including our air quality. Right now, sitting 50 points better in terms of particle pollution this morning. It's now in the moderate range.
Now, thankfully, that means we can slowly make our way back outside, but sensitive groups will still want to be careful with just how much time they're spending outdoors this morning. Now, let's see this AQI map. You can really see a difference there. All of the orange and red that we actually saw yesterday is now yellow, which is a great improvement.
It's like that for almost all of the Northwest. To get unhealthy air quality, you would have to travel all the way to southern Oregon, which is where the bootleg fire is burning. If you would like the latest updates on air quality this morning, you can text the word AIR to 509-448-2000. We'll send that information right to your phone.
All right. Now, speaking of air quality and being outside, I don't know anybody who's a better expert than our Jeremy Legoo at both of those.
What about coffee?
He's busy. He's brewing coffee.
What are you doing? What is happening?
Brewing coffee. I'm brewing a pot of coffee. Tim's right. We do have a story about coffee coming up in just a bit. I'm making a pot right now for all of us to share. So if we all wind up talking a bit faster, blame Tim. Yeah, that's Tim, not me. I have nothing to do with it. Sun's on the rise this morning, but notice there is a haze, but also notice bottom left of your screen, you can see some of those mountains off in the distance. That is a sign of our air quality. We keep hovering from 70 to 72 here in Spokane, and not too far from there around the region. 65 in Moses Lake, 69 in Wenatchee. How about 67 in Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint? You're up near 60 already this morning. Moderate is the air quality. Current AQI sits at 93. It's going to be moderate and edge toward unhealthy for some today. But by tomorrow, good air quality returns to the region, and that follows around a thunderstorms that moves through later today. That's right, thunderstorms with locally strong wind gusts, locally heavy rain. But for some of us, it's lightning without that rain, and that creates a fire danger that we could be seeing later on today. From 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., we have a red flag warning in place, and we will monitor lightning creating new wildfires and wind gusts spreading existing wildfires. Thankfully, right now, none of that is going on. We'll keep an eye on that as it develops later on this afternoon, and as that happens, expect more clouds to return to the skies. So the first half of the day, sunshine, second half, cloud cover with some local thunderstorms.
We know that students in Spokane will have to wear masks when they return to class this fall, and that was a decision made by the Washington State Department of Health last week.
Now the superintendent has issued rules to go along with that guidance. So let's take a look. Students and staff members must wear masks regardless of your vaccination status while inside. They also want schools to start verifying student and staff vaccination status.
Now, this will change if a student must quarantine or have weekly screenings. Fully vaccinated students and staff who do not have symptoms do not have to quarantine when exposed to COVID-19. Screening and testing will be offered to students who are not fully vaccinated. So this morning, Washington is seeing a big spike in COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations. State health officials are concerned because they believe the increase is linked to the Delta variant.
And Spokane is starting to see a sharp spike in new COVID cases as well. Amanda Raleigh joins us now from the newsroom. Good morning.
Good morning, Channing and Tim. The number of new cases reported by the Spokane Regional Health District right now is 272. That brings the new total to more than 49,800 cases. Now, the health district also reported 30 new COVID hospitalizations from Monday, bringing the latest total to 85. Now, Interim Health Officer Dr. Frank Velasquez says Spokane's hospitals are very busy right now. That's not only because of the recent increase in COVID hospitalizations, but also because they are seeing a lot of high acuity patients at the same time. Now, according to the Spokane Regional Health District, 95% of local COVID hospitalizations are people who are not vaccinated. And while the Delta variant, though, is circulating through Spokane County, other strains of the virus are also spreading quickly in our region.
So that's something that we're tracking very closely, but it's a number that changes every day because patients get transferred between services depending on the acuity that they have, and patients get discharged to other care facilities.
Now, we have not yet been able to confirm the current capacity percentages at Spokane hospitals, mostly because they fluctuate daily, right? Well, both Providence, Sacred Heart, and Multicare say they are seeing this increase in COVID hospitalizations, but they do have room to treat people who need care. However, Dr. Velasquez says in his conversations with these providers, hospitals are starting to reach a total they should not exceed on a regular basis. Now, if you remember early on in the pandemic, when hospitals became overwhelmed with COVID patient capacity, they paused or rescheduled elective surgeries. Now, at this time, Dr. Velasquez says Spokane hospitals are not discussing doing this again. Reporting in the newsroom, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Now, the CDC says the Delta variant accounts for more than 93% of new cases reported during the last 2 weeks of July.
At the end of May, the Delta variant only caused about 3% of new COVID cases. The time now is 7:07. It's time for your morning rush. More news in less time.
Now, police say a man actually tried to lure a 10-year-old boy into a nearby boat yesterday in Coeur d'Alene. This is video from Coeur d'Alene Parasail from their security footage, actually. According to police, 42-year-old John Randolph came up to the child and said that he was his father. That's when the 10-year-old got scared and ran to employees at CDA Parasail. Randolph told employees he was the boy's father, but when the victim insisted he wasn't, employees called police and Randolph was arrested. He's been booked into jail for child enticement.
The search continues for the 5-year-old boy from Fruitland, Idaho, who's been missing for more than a week now. Michael Vaughn was last seen near his home last Tuesday.
It's my childhood neighborhood. That's where I spent my childhood years. My children are growing up here, and my law enforcement partners are mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, and friends of children that are just like Michael. So you need to believe me when I tell you that we are all in.
Idaho State Police, the Boise Police Department, along with 13 law enforcement agencies, are helping in the search. Investigators use helicopters, boats, and canines to try and find Michael. So far, they haven't found him, of course. Anyone with information about Michael's whereabouts, urged to call that number there on your screen.
And a warning to our viewers at home, this next story mentions sexual assault. Former Spokane police officer Nathan Nash has been arrested in a second rape investigation. Now, this investigation was spurred by a complaint to the police department on July 6th of 2019. Nash had previously been terminated by SPD for charges related to another incident. Now, for the latest and more details on the full investigation, you can head over to our website at KREM.com.
A settlement was made after Geber Farms in Okanagan was slapped with $2 million worth of COVID fines. Washington State Department of Labor and Industries found dozens of health and safety violations last December. It was later discovered 2 employees died from the virus last July because of work and living conditions. It was one of the largest fines given out in state history. In terms of the settlement, the nearly $2 million must be spent to improve the well-being of workers.
Well, there's a scene that is turning heads on Mount St. Helens. Check this out. Andy Goodwin captured this photo of what's called watermelon snow. Now, believe it or not, it's actually not a new phenomenon. The U.S. Forest Service says it's caused by a green algae that thrives in cold temperatures and is typically found at high elevations. That red pigment that you see actually helps protect the algae from heat and UV radiation, but it could also cause rapid glacial melt. Some people say it smells like watermelon, but officials say it could definitely make you sick.
Yeah, don't try it. Pro tip. That's your Morning Rush. More news in less time. Let us know what's happening in your neighborhood by using the hashtag #UpWithKREM on social media. Well, after the break, Spokane High School students are taking on one of Washington's biggest industries, coffee roasting.
They see the world when they come through our doors as oftentimes threatening and unhealthy. They see themselves oftentimes as bad and unworthy, and they feel alone in that. And so what we do over the years is, give them experiences that they see that the world has goodness.
And they're making a very big difference. I talked with them about how they're making the perfect blends.
And a Washington native is making a big splash at the Olympics. In our next half hour, our state's newest gold medalist and everything you need to know about the Olympics today.